Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Simracing Bible. Welcome to the channel. My name is Phil. Hope you're well. Hope you're doing well. We are back in Automobilista 2. Now, it seems we've been in Automobilista 2 quite a lot recently, but we are still in it because today we have just released, well, they have just released the brand new update, which has been in release candidate mode for about a week now. And we were just going to just try it out as a release candidate, but moments before we went live this evening, is actually dropped officially. So we're going to have a first look at the full release of this particular update. And as you can tell from the thumbnail and also from the image that's on the screen now, some of that may well involve Group C cars because they have been involved in a tyre model revision. So looking forward to giving that a go. So we're going to go through all the release notes, well, not all of them, but the important parts of the release notes, which are going to be good to check out. And we're going to give some of the cars a drive, see how they work, especially those with the new tyre models, and also just check out some of the little fine details which have been thrown in there for good measure as well. So welcome along. Good to have you with us. Hope you enjoy watching along this evening, and please do share your thoughts on the new update if you've tried the release candidate version and all that kind of stuff. So looking forward to getting going with this. So let's jump into the sim now, and I'll go through some of the notes and we'll discuss what's coming up. So here we go then. Get ourselves into the sim as well. So here we are. Got the chat up so I can see what you guys are saying. I know some of you are already on there already. So evening, Frank. Welcome. Marty's here. Cheers, Phil and chat. Welcome along, Marty. Raw McRip Helmet's with us. Hey, how you doing? Good to have you with us. Right. So note the changelog updates. So we're now on version 1.3.7.0. So just so you, 1.3.7.1 is the official version number for this particular one. So some highlights then. So they've been doing a lot of work recently on revised tyre models for a lot of the cars. So we've had that come through for various cars now, which have been really, really good and well received by a lot of people. And they make the handling very nice indeed. So we've had a new batch of those to go through. So that includes... so we've got extensive tyre, suspension and aero revisions for Formula Classics, all gens, Formula V12s, Formula V10s, Gen 1 and Gen 2, as well as the McLaren MP412, the Formula Reiza. So there's a whole load of the more modern single-seaters, apart from the Formula Ultimates, which have already got the model. And then obviously we have Group C, which we're going to be jumping into later. And also GT5 and G40 Cups. So as you can see, we have on the screen here the Ginetta G40. So we'll certainly be trying that one out to start us off. And then there's various other updates, such as revised flexible axles and driveline elasticity for Formula Vintages, Formula Retros and Classics, V12s, V10s, Formula Risers and Ultimates as well. Added flexible axles to the Opalas and the Puma GTB, the Camaro SS and Group C. So some mixture of other cars in there getting some updates. Revised driveline elasticity and inertia for the Camaro, the Group A cars. Might be worth a check out. BMW 2002 turbos, the Omega stock cars, Group C again, Formula Trainers, Caterhams, the Aussie racing cars, Camaro, P3s, P4s, F3s, sprint races, and Pumas. The guys at Reiza have been so busy. There's just so many things on the list. One of the other noticeable updates that we're going to be checking out as well, the Super V8. So we had a bit of an update with that in the previous revisions, and they made a lot of work on that particular car, trying to make it a little bit more drivable, because it was a little crazy to drive that thing. And there were some good steps forward, as we reported last time we drove that. And they've been working on that once again. So further revisions, which includes 3D model scale corrections to take into account the setup changes made on the car. They've also corrected the wheelbase and track width, adjusted the front splitter pitch sensitivity, corrected engine orientation, adjusted weight distribution, caster range and default settings. So yeah, there's a few things that can be changed there, which we'll test that car out again to see how that feels. Group A's have had some love as well this time around, with increased clutch torque, increased cooling rates, and better resistance to wear before torque capacity degradation starts. So there's lots of little bits and pieces. They probably won't be massively different to drive. We need to wait until they get the new tires and things. That's where the real difference will be. But you know, there's lots of small little bits and pieces just kind of thrown in, just to keep them progressing all the way through. So let's jump in straight away with the Ginetta G40. We're going to go to the classic version of Alton Park and give the Ginetta a go. Now, this is a very popular car for a lot of people. A lot of people love driving the little Ginettas. They make good racing and they're fun to drive. Well, they were. So let's see if the new tyre model makes that even better. So excited to see how this goes. Omni's here. Good evening. I said yesterday I tested release candidate 1.3.7 and we have 1.3.7.1 already. Yep, I know. As I said, I was literally all geared up to try the release candidate out this evening, but the official release went live. So here we go then. Funky Sir evening. Quite subtle changes, I thought. Okay. Well, we'll see how we get on here. So already through the wheel, I've got an awful lot of vibration just sat still here. It's a bit different. Now, I don't think I have a custom setup on here, actually. Let me just check before we go out here, just because I know you're supposed to reset to defaults, just in case we've got anything saved there. There's definitely a bit of a vibration when sat still on the force feedback, but that's okay. Right. Let's go out on track and see how this little Ginetta handles. Right. Nice, easy break into the action this evening. I'm not going to go too mad with the high-paced Formula cars or the Group C cars just yet. This will work as a nice little warm-up. Speaking of warm-up, need some warmer tyres. They're stone cold. So on this release candidate, I liked updated Porsche 911 73, so the RSR one. The stock car Omegas, GT5s, Puma GTs and GTB. Yep. All some good cars to give a try out this evening. So Frank says it's brilliant on all the content and effects from what I've been able to test. I'm liking this a lot. That's good. Encouraging signs coming out already. So obviously this is the classic circuit at Alton Park, so we don't have to worry about any of the chicanes. We just go straight through and down to the quick version of Knickerbrook. Running it through there. Up Clay Hill we go. A bit of understeer. Come on, turn in. So, Frank says, for those who are on Fanatec Wheel, 442 is out if you missed it, and it's a game changer. Okay. Not sure which version I'm on, but it should auto-update, so hopefully we're on the latest one. Martin H says, when are the next online for community race? I'd like to join. Ah, excellent. Well, you're more than welcome to join us. We'll be doing some soon, absolutely. So stay tuned. We're going to try and get ourselves a Fusca series up and running on SimRacing GP. So if you're on SimRacing GP, head over to the SimRacing Bible community on there, join up, and we'll get ourselves some Fusca series started up very soon. Funky says, they felt great to drive for me, Frank. Just don't drive them not to tell any big differences. Okay. Yeah. Through Island Bend we go. Through Shellall's Hairpin we go. So far, seems to be a fair bit of understeer going on, and I don't know whether that's just haven't driven this car for a little while, but it just seems to be a little bit heavy on the understeer front, so let's see if that's any different through here this time. Bit of a stutter there. We're okay, we're up and running again. Let's get it stopped into Druids this time. Yeah, it does definitely seem to be a little bit pushy, a little bit understeery. Want to brake into large corner. Kevin's here. Welcome, Kevin. So Royal McMillan's not changed his Fanatec driver for 2 years in fear of its breaking a working setup. So there's that understeer again. It's just pushing me off wide there. I just have to try and be more positive on the turning input so I can actually get the car turned in and try and unstable it a little bit. Obviously, this is only default setup, so we could change something to help point it in a little bit better. Island bend's always a good challenge driving any car, it's so quick. So Marty says, latest update, dangling parts. I admit it made me laugh. Yes, there are some changes to the damage model, which includes dangling parts falling off the car. So I think that's in the Caterham, so we're going to obviously have to give that a try and see if we can damage some Caterhams and see what happens. That's a little bit better through there that time. A bit more grip available to us. There we go. Through Druids we go. So now we've got the tyre temperatures up. Can have a proper look at how the car's handling on the new tyre model. And so far, it does feel very good. I mean, I remember the Ginetta G40 being a nice car to drive anyway, but there's an apex followed by a wide exit. But yeah, the car itself, it seems to have a little bit more detail than its feedback, possibly. Obviously, it's very low powered, so you're not going to get an awful lot of oversteer on the exit as a result of trying to get the power down. But when you do start to go a little bit sideways, the car is quite nice to control, actually. It's not too bad, you can feel it let go. So even then, out of the relatively slow shell oil's hairpin, even though it's heavily banked and cambered, it's not really breaking loose. But I'll have to try it again out of Druids, because that's where some of that oversteer really does show up. I do love it through that corner. Such a fun corner to go through with the compression in the middle of the corner. We're gradually getting quicker and quicker every lap as well. Yeah, definitely a lot of understeer. Yeah, so out of large corner then, quite a forgiving bit of oversteer there. You can just easily apply some opposite lock and catch the thing, and off you go. But yeah, so overall, good feeling again through the wheel. It's quite strong actually, the force feedback. So when you turn the wheel side to side, you do get a good indication that there are some tyres attached to the road, so you can actually feel what that's like when it does lose grip. So let's try and just do some weaving left and right, and then we'll put in a bit too much steering input to try and see if we can feel when those tyres lose grip. Yeah, you certainly can. Yeah, so that's good feel. Obviously the slow speed nature of the Ginetta G40 is always going to be hiding a little bit of that tyre model, but it's nice and balanced through there, so that's good. Okay, let's find some other ones to test. So what have you guys been up to here? So the talking about your feedback updates and things. So Funky says, I smashed a Gen 1 vintage against a pit wall at Spa 93. The nose came off and bounced into the pit lane. Not sure what the final casualty numbers were. Oh no, that sounds like a nasty one. Okay, so that's the Ginetta. We'll probably try some GT5s later as well, but let's go jump into one of the many single-seaters which have been updated for this one. So, you know me, single-seaters are not really my natural habitat, but I will drive them. So we will see what these are like. So, first one's up. Let's do... It's got Formula Classic or Gens, right? I'm going to go with... Let's go with the Formula V10s. Let's try those ones out first. So we have the Gen 1s and the Gen 2s. Gen 2s are the ones with the grooved tyres, and then Gen 1s with the full slicks. So let's try the Gen 2s. Give that a bit of a rip. Where should we take this one? Need a good Grand Prix track, really, don't we? Tell you what, let's take it to Interlagos, shall we? Already driven here for a little while, so let's go give this a try. But yeah, so far, obviously, we've learnt through the other cars that have been updated to the new tyre model that it's good progress being made. So let's see what these high-powered single-seaters are like to drive. Oops. Don't need a H pattern for this. All right, some Formula V10 goodness coming your way. Alright, let's get that speed limiter on. And once again, we'll work our way up to this a little bit slowly because I've not really driven this car that much. It's already sounding good with the V10. Not even anywhere near the red line. There it is. Oh, what a noise. Bit of a difference in pace to the Ginetta. Into the first of the hairpins. Bit of traction control on this car as well, so you can just hear it starting to kick in off the exit of those corners. So Funky says, this is as modern as I will go with F1 cars. Yep. Anything after that is a no-go for Funky. Alright, how late do we dare brake? I can probably go a little bit later than that too. There's also been some updates with the Formula V10s in the fact that they've changed the dirty air profile for the front wing. So if you're following another car, you're not going to get as much of an impact from following in their wake as you used to. I know that was picked up on the forum. Someone was giving a good demonstration of just how much lap time is lost when they got caught up behind another car, which, although you would normally anyway because the aero is disturbed by following another car, it was quite a drastic difference. So we've apparently reduced that now with the front wing adjustment. So we're picking our pace up a little bit now, getting a bit more confident with it. Let's brake after the 100. Ooh, there's a sausage curb. Not ideal for hitting with a low-slung single-seater like this. You're running onto that curb on the outside there quite a bit. Easy to lock an inside wheel into that hairpin. The inside's very much unloaded into that. That's just too deep altogether. You really feel it load up as you go through the fast corners. That was too late. Oh goodness, right. Spin that around again. Alright, so let's catch my breath again after driving that, and my ears. It's rather loud. Let's turn that down a little bit. So Frank's not a fan of the more modern stuff as well in terms of F1 cars, so this is pinnacle for you guys. So Kevin says, talking of Fanatec, is the QR1 worth £100 instead of the light? To be honest, I'm not 100% sure. I've not really delved into the higher up levels of the Fanatec stuff, so too quick into there once again. Right. We started to build our pace up a little bit, and then it's all gone rather ragged, so let's try and calm it down and gain control again. So, down to turn 1, brake just after the 100. Maybe we're taking a lot more speed to the final corner, that's why we're not able to get it stopped. Have to bring it back to the 100 board again. The car's feeling nice actually. I mean, I know I'm having some slidey moments going into some of these corners, but that's just my own fault for going too fast into them. And not holding the brakes well. But overall the car feels really nice actually. It's a bit different obviously with the traction control because you don't have the very organic feel of trying to control the car with your right foot. It's got so much more grip than I actually expected to. I'm turning in far too early because I'm not expecting it to go when I turn the wheel. It's part of driving the Ginettas first, I suppose, but it's got to trust the turn in. There you go, traction control kicking in once again, just to tell me you can't be that ambitious with your throttle. This is the F1 Drift Championship, by the way, if you've just tuned in. Ah, finally through that hairpin with a degree of control. But yeah, you really do get a good feel through the wheel with these new tyres, just to feel the car underneath you on the road. It does make a big difference. Okay. Well, that's good. I mean, I know we're running grooved tyres here, but they've actually got an awful lot of grip because the tyre compounds are quite soft with these era of tyres. So plenty of grip on board. Good feel as well, and we'll need to go and try that out with some of the lesser advanced ones in terms of traction control and things, just to try and see what it's like on the edge when you're not having interference from traction control kicking in. So, but that felt good. It felt pretty nice. So yeah. So Frank come back about Kevin's question about the Fanatec quick release. So he's used both. Okay, handy. Zero play, zero issues with the QR Lite. Expensive metal one has, as you know, some play. Usually it varies. Okay. Yeah, good advice there, Frank, as well, I'd probably say. Hope everyone's having a pleasant weekend, says Marty. Cheers. The F3 in this title is the real drift car. Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah, we'll have to get into that and try that a bit more. Right, so from one screaming F1 car probably to another, even more so. So hold on to your ears, everybody. We're taking the Formula V12 out of the garage. So let's find a nicer looking livery. I'm going to go with this fake Jordan looking one. Okay. 7-Up livery, so we're going to go with that. This time we will take it to Montreal. We'll go to the modern one and see how this one goes. So obviously this one's running proper slicks rather than grooved tyres. A lot narrower as well, I think, than the Formula V10 Gen 1s, or Gen 2, so I say. But obviously we now have a 3-litre V12 behind us, so it should be interesting. And obviously no traction control, so now is the real test. And there's plenty of low-speed corners to try and see what the oversteer situation is like in this car. V12s. You ready? Right. So we have got warm tyres coming out of the pit lane. Obviously we've got some tyre warmers back there with the mechanics, so that helps. Myself a lap or two just to adjust to not having quite as much grip as the Formula V10. Yeah, they've already got oversteer issues. They're not even pushing on properly yet. Ooh, okay, well that's quite nice through there. A little bit of balancing. With a very tight hairpin. Gentle throttle application on the exit. Okay, down to the chicane then. How late do we brake here? Gonna go 100 broad again. That is very much marginal. I have to brake a little earlier than that just to make sure. So difficult to sight that corner, and again it drops away from the exit as well, so difficult to get through there. It's a bit of a hustle, this car. You've got to be onto it. Cool. Quick hands needed. So Frank says, best sounding engine in F1 history. Though in the case of the 412 T2, there is gearbox 1 involved a bit. A little bit safer through the last chicane that time. So Marty says, don't think I've driven this track yet, I'm a failure. Oh no, don't worry about it. You can't drive everything in one go. Just kind of grit your teeth and hold on through that. Ah, that's better. Found the inside curb. Okay, so a couple of laps under the belt already. Getting more and more used to the car. But you can actually give this car a good push through some of these corners, because you can actually lean on it a little bit more. So when you do get sideways, okay, it does snap away from you quite quickly, but you can actually apply that opposite lock and save the car rather than just having it snap and go around and that's it, game over. But it's just nice and progressive. You can actually feel the thing moving around, or at least I can anyway. You know when you've gone just a little bit too far beyond the limits. So trying to accelerate out of there from first gear obviously is not really the right option. Just trying to short shift a little bit there just to control the rear end ever so slightly, as well as being careful with my right foot. That's the problem with Montreal. You end up just, if you're floating a car out of a corner, you end up floating just a little bit closer to that wall, which is always present to catch you out. Okay, so this is actually a bit of a gem, this car. Actually, it does drive really nicely now. I never really bothered with it too much. I drove it a few times, obviously, because, you know, mostly for the noise. Never really gelled with it, but it's one of those cars now with the new tyre model where you can actually jump into it and just try your absolute hardest to tame the thing, and it's an enjoyable experience. So you end up driving more and more laps purely because because you think it's just such a good challenge to try and get right, as I missed that corner by a long way. But yeah, so just out of those corners there, I mean, you can see, I mean, that section we just gone through is one of those which will always test the traction on the car anyway. But you really can just balance it with the throttle and the steering inputs through there and just work your way out of the corner. But again, coming out of that slow speed hairpin there in first gear, we're trying to accelerate as gently and as quickly as we can. And the back end is moving around, and you can feel it because the wheel will just give you that little wiggle just to let you know that the rear wheels are not quite happy. Yeah. Okay. That's nice. That is very good. So without the traction control taking over like we did with the Formula V10s, that is a much more kind of easily identifiable difference between on the new tyre models, because you can just really feel what it's doing. I mean, obviously with the V10s you can feel it a little bit more with the front tyres as how much they're moving around across the circuit when you're pushing on through a corner. And there's a little bit of sliding going on there, obviously, when you get it wrong, which I did a few times. But with that car, you can definitely feel it a lot more just because there's more driving involved. You're not kind of reliant on the technology to keep the car in check. That one you've really got to put your inputs in to make it work. So that one was much more of an involved drive, but good fun. Good fun. Right. So we're going to do one of the other single seaters, and then I think we'll jump into Group C cars. Tish is here. Welcome, Tish. I see your comment there. I see you challenging me. Yes, I think we can do that. I think Group C on the Nordschleife, I think we can probably do that. I'll regret it later, but I'll take it on. So I'm not going to go Formula Rise, I don't think. So we'll try Formula Classic All Gen. So let's go find out. Let's go find a Formula Classic that we might like to drive. Let's go back to the earlier ones and give it a real varied option. So that's V6 driven cars. So do we go with the slightly longer wheelbase, that one, or is it just bodywork that's the difference? Oh, well, I'll go with this. No, we're going to go with the long one. Can't make my mind up. I remember the Ferrari looking one. So this time we'll take this one to Spa-Francorchamps. We'll do the 93 version and go with that. I was going to run the Group C cars around there, but since Tish has challenged me to the Nordschleife, I'll do Spa and the Formula Classic. So let's give that a go. So going back to the Famsec quick release. So Kevson says £100 seems a lot for a small lump of metal. But if it makes the difference, I might have to suck it up. Yeah, there's a bit of machining involved in them as well, but yeah, I know what you mean. It is a bit kind of like, wow, it's a lot of money for a very small component. Right. Back into H pattern mode. V6. We've halved the amount of cylinders from the last time out. Okay, so we've got driveline elasticity changes on this one, as well as the tyre model. So, let's unleash it. Turbo lag, boost. Once again, just a couple of laps just to familiarise myself with the car a little bit more. With both hands on the wheel, there's damping. And obviously with the 93 version of Spa, we have the big curbs, which we need to steer just clear enough of. Down to Rivage. Okay. Very different style of driving with these things. Obviously with the H-pattern gearbox being one of the major things, but the turbo boost is definitely one of the others. Gotta make sure you're always close to, if not in the rev range for boost. So you get all that power kicking in rather than having a long wait until you receive it. Down to the original bus stop. The original and greatest. So you may have noticed the difference from going from V10s to the V12s and then now to this. The difference in the width of my smile. Because, I don't know, there's something about these older cars that seem to make a real joyful driving experience, even if they are absolutely bonkers. Oh, goodness. Right, so rules are set up there. It says they've enabled the boost button on this car. Press it when you shift into fifth on the long straight and don't release throttle. I did notice there was a nice Thunderbolt graphic in the bottom right corner. I'm trying to remember what my boost button is, but we'll try that next time we come down the Kemmel Straight. Marty's also saying that no one said this hobby was inexpensive. Moses' pricing is interesting. Yeah, it is. They are doing interesting things at the moment, and they're obviously releasing a lot more products recently too. So, curious to see what's going on there. The turbos are just mad as funky. Yeah, you're not wrong. Flat out through Blanchimont. Just love the engine flutter. Alright. Into the source. Get it stopped. Press and hold the button, says Dark Eminence. Important. Okay, thanks for that. And welcome, by the way, Dark Eminence. Welcome to the channel. Alright, let's get ourselves through Eau Rouge and Radion. Right, boost button. Which one is it? That one. I wasn't aware that these things had an extra amount of boost available as a button. I was aware that they are absolute animals to try and control. And again, even though this thing is pretty savage when the boost does kick in, it is possible to keep a hold of it. Now I've said that, obviously I'm going to throw it off at the next possible opportunity. But you can recover it. You also just need to be very quick to get your hands off the steering wheel onto the gear stick and then back on again as fast as possible to keep control of the thing. Caught the curb on the inside then. Bit of a wobble. It's just wild. Go once again through here, keep it pinned, and then apply the boost. And watch the numbers rise. And all of a sudden, you're into Les Comps without even knowing it. That's awesome. I've just seen what Dark Eminence has said. They can also set it to 100% boost in setup. The engine will only make it 3 to 4 laps with damage and mechanical failures on, but why not? Well, obviously we're going to have to give that a go, aren't we? So let's go into the advanced setup and take a good look at this then. So boost pressure of 65%. Is that all? It's measly. 100% on. And yeah, it's nice knowing you all, by the way. We'll put the limiter on for now, just so we can get out of pit lane. and then we'll unleash. So full boost. And 5% throttle. Here we go. This is without the boost button, by the way. We're already up to nearly 220 kph and mowing some grass through they come. Okay, let's try and sort this out, shall we? I do love the old turbo V6 noise. It's just kind of low down, grunty kind of sounds from the V6. Kind of hit that flat spot through the middle of Puan there, and you just kind of clench, knowing that all of a sudden you're going to get a whole heap of power coming your way very soon. Okay, here we go. Getting into the rhythm of it now. For some reason I thought there was 6th gear, but obviously there isn't. I have to change the the drive ratios. Get it back on track, Phil. Thank you. Right. So maybe Blanchiment isn't quite flat anymore. Sorry, you're right, Arkham. It's this miles an hour, not kph. Okay, there we go then. This time we'll use the boost button and just see how fast we can get up to total VMAX. Rounding our way through Eau Rouge. Right, boost on. So I don't think it's any different. So it's basically just basically what the boost button seems to do is take it up to 100% boost for a temporary period of time by the looks of things. So there was no extra increase of power as we hit that boost button when we were on 100% as the setup dictated. So yes, it's like a temporary thing just to kind of give you that extra amount of power. That's really good. I mean, like I said, it was most of that was spent focusing on trying to manage the car around the track. But having said that, getting the car sideways out of corners, which happens, it was really, really impressive, actually. It's so easy to just, as I say, just apply that opposite lock and bring it back in line again. There's really good feel going on with that. Yeah, I'll remember it's yeah, mile an hour. I've got it set to mile an hour. So sometimes I have it set to Ks just in case. Oh, okay, so Dark Emerald, you're Crimson from Reiza Forums. Okay, cool. Well, welcome. Good to have you with us. Theodore Schultz is here. Welcome, Theodore. Love the new default setups in the new updates. Yeah, no, there's been some good changes made so far. But yeah, Dark Eminence says boost button opens up turbo pressure to the full amount. Yeah, that's what I figured. That's cool. Very good. Right. Okay. Well, it's time, I think, isn't it? It's Group C time now. We're going to obviously have to try the Sauber Mercedes because that's the one that you guys have seen on the thumbnail. So we'll give that one a go. And it's Nordschleife time. So let's go take this car out here and just see how this thing drives. Oh dear, yeah, that's full boost on the Formula Classic is yeah, it's just nuts, isn't it? Full qualifying mode and just hang on. So yeah, good fun. Right, so Group C then. So when Group C cars were first released for Automobilista 2, I mentioned that they were some of the best Group C cars that I'd driven because they gave me that feeling of what I would expect them to drive like. So they were really, really good, and I've enjoyed driving them ever since. Now we've got the new tyre model involved here, so what's that going to do to the overall drivability of these cars? That's what I'm curious to find out. So without further ado, let's go warm up some tyres in our twin-turbo V8 Mercedes Sauber. Straight onto the Nordschleife, no messing around with the GP circuit. Oh, this thing. Absolute weapon, but in a good way. Once again, just warm ourselves up here. And as we're in a Group C car, the lap around the Nordschleife won't be particularly long. It will if I keep poodling around like that. Okay, let's go. Up to Flugplatz, where we have to... It's going to have a little bit of a lift there, just because didn't want the nose taking off and then having no ability to turn into that right-hander. But we might have to take it flat out next time. Little lift for comfort purposes, just on our outlap. Stop! Okay, let's go back to the pit lane. Let's try that again. That was me just saying currently that we're gonna build ourselves up to some full speed, and then just got too carried away. Once again, we go through the most driven part of the Nordschleife. Pretty much anyone who's driven around here knows this particular section pretty well. I don't know if I got damage on, so I'm going to have to go back and try that again. So, just proving once again that that section is very well known. Right. Come on, Phil, let's actually try and put a lap in here. So, let's make a note of what you guys are saying here. So, Kevin says, love the massive range of classes in MS2, however, it must be a monumental task to get all physics, AI, sounds, whatever. Yeah, so it is a big task, and I'm sure a lot of work is being done on the title all across it. There's a lot of different cars to kind of get your head around and things, so full props to the guys at Reiza for all they do, because whatever they're doing is working very well indeed. So, yeah, Raw's got it right. Outlap equals out in the gravel trap. Yep, outlap, gravel trap, outlap, gravel trap, and repeat. Ooh, bit of lift off at the top of the hill. Turning our Sauber into a rocket ship. Even more so than it already is. We have to get on the brakes much earlier. Okay, we made it further this time. Good news. As we weave our way downhill through the shadows of the trees into the big compression at the bottom of the hill, grounding out. Just about got it slowed up. So you can also change the boost in setup with the Sauber if you find it too calm, says Dark Eminence. Obviously the Sauber is just far too tame for our liking, so need to add more boost. So it's been a bit of a running joke on the channel for a little while that when driving the Group C cars, it was not really much of a difficult task in some cases. Obviously, they come with their own challenges with the speed and the boost, especially in the Sauber. But when compared to driving a Copa Fusca, a Bathurst, these things are an absolute doddle. So, interesting to see whether that philosophy has changed. I'd probably like to say yes, it has. Okay, let's keep pushing on. Why did I accept this challenge? But it's fun. It is very fun. I have to try the 962 as well because it's such a different car. Well, I don't know what I was thinking there, honestly. So yeah, a bit of a brake and then downshift like the M3 GT2 does, and then you're in. But no, you're in an 80s Group C car, Phil. Right, well, as we're coping with this really well, let's go in here and it's on 85% boost. It's nothing. So, ooh, can I? Ah, now I can. There we go. Right, none of that 85% nonsense. I want the full fat version of the Sauber Mercedes, please. And a little bit more respect for the car and the circuit, potentially. So Funky says maybe my 940 around here in the Fusca is safe. Yeah, you're probably not far wrong there, Funky. Still need to give that a go, actually. Need to try that out, see if I can get anywhere near that. Right, nice and easy then. Nice and easy. Just short shifting because I daren't let it go full throttle. Right. Little lift. And we can finally unleash the horses before reining them back in again. Once again, we have the same issue as we had with the Formula Classic in the way that the boost just all of a sudden kicks in. However, it still reigns true that when it does go sideways, it snaps on you. You can, to a degree, do your best to get it back in line again. Probably a bit more challenging with this than the Formula Classic, to be honest. Just need to engage full enduro mode and just drive it like I am driving a 6-hour 1,000-kilometer race from the old World Endurance Championship. It's all about bringing the car home rather than complete outright speed. Trying to float out of there. Ooh, get off the grass. Get on the brakes earlier this time for the bridge section. Oh, crunch. Right, this time we'll try not to take this next series of corners as fast as we did. This bit is all good. No problems through here. That's easily flat. Just when we get around this next right-hander, we need to get on the brakes a little bit more. And not on the curb quite so much. Nice AMG banners at the carousel. Let's get it down on the banking and fire out the other side. Again, trying to re-familiarise myself with the Nordschleife, especially this section. It's a YouTube corner. Try not to drop it in front of all the cameras. To the jump. Felt like I was on the WRC stage for a moment. Oh no! I almost got around. Okay, that thing's mad. Even more so than it was. Let's go jump in. Let's go jump in the 962 as well, just to give that a go. Oh, goodness. Sorry, I kind of missed what was going on in the chat then because I was too busy focusing. So Frankie says, you will do it. I'm just hoping not first time. We'll give it a go. We'll give it a go. We'll go with the Nordschleife with the 962 as well, just out of fairness. So Marty says, can you imagine being, say, 12 again with the current level of software and hardware for sim racing? I know, yeah. Tell me about it. It's just, you just can't, I don't know. Can't imagine what it would have been like back in the day if you had what we have now. And, you know, what we were used to all those years ago, thinking just how good it was. You know, Jeff Kremen's Grand Prix 2, for example, was what I grew up on. And, you know, it was, for me at the time, incredible. You know, loved it. Playing with my joystick rather than the actual wheel. You know, you're just trying to drive around Monaco with a with a joystick for controls. But yeah, good fun. Kevin says my dad maybe made me a steering wheel for revs on the BBC Micro. That's cool. Like back when you have to make your own controllers for things rather than just buying them. Yeah, crazy. Yeah, so you're right, Doc. Even the Nordschleife wasn't something that was available just purely because of the size of the thing, trying to model it into a game. Yeah, good stuff. Right, hang on before we jump out of there. Let's check the setup options and put that up to 100 as well because we can. Right, different engine entirely. Let's channel our inner Stefan Beloff around here. Lots of lovely wastegate chatter sounds going on. Plenty of feedback over the curbs, that's for sure. And then obviously they're quite large curbs around here, so you'd expect that kind of a jolt when it hits your wheel. A lot lighter on the force feedback in the Porsche compared to the Sauber. And already it feels slightly less of a handful to drive, actually. I mean, that's how you would expect it to, because the Sauber really was just a brute. Porsche maybe a little bit more refined. It's still quick in its own right, and enough power to keep you on your toes, but at the same time a little bit more manageable, hence why it was one of the most successful Group C cars of its time. Oof, dear, too much of a cut then. And we're already off. Stefan, I'm sorry. Let's go again. Right, so this time. Nice and smooth on the inputs, nothing too rushed or hurried, just nice and easy. Let the car do its thing. So yeah, the Sauber, says Dockham, has a lot shorter wheelbase, and a lot more torque. It makes it a lot harder to drive. Yeah, no, it would do. It's quite a different car altogether, really. Which is with the beauty of when you get manufacturers working to a set of regulations, they have a degree of freedom. They can come up with all sorts of different creations. But yeah, they're definitely a nicer balance to the Porsche. But again, feeling on the tyres, which is what we're testing here really, is, yeah, it's very, very positive indeed. It's really nicely poised on the road. You feel a good understanding of what's going on underneath you. Even though we've had some offs, that's mostly down to my over-exuberance with trying to get around this track in one of these cars, but even with all the slidey moments, get a good understanding of what's going on underneath me. Bit of understeer then as we went in too quick. There, just sliding off the corner, it's so nice. Able to control it one-handed all of a sudden, but that's because you can feel what's going on. There we go then. Up to the very fast section once again. Oof. Yeah, stay off those curbs. They're violent. Bit nicer through there that time. Just the car kicking out from underneath you when you go over those little bumps. Kevin said I don't have enough talent to drive Brucey. Judging by what we've experienced this evening, I might not do either. Partly down to just not focusing on what I'm doing. But yeah, the Porsche is nice. Inspires a little bit more confidence as well with throwing it around here. I just don't know it well enough to be able to give it full beans, but that's really good. So I'm going to try the Group C cars once again, but I'm going to try them at a circuit I have a half a chance at. It is a mad combo. If you have the time and effort to put into that, and that's going to be very rewarding. But okay, let's take it to Laguna Seca, shall we? Hey Noel, welcome along. This car is so much more fun with 8-shift and clutch. Yeah, it is. You've got to have an 8-shifter really to appreciate these cars properly. It's part of it. It's all part of the experience. I think this is my biggest tip around here in the Fusca is to set an alarm when you reach the Duttinger Hoe. Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to give that a go with the Fusca. Yeah, I can imagine you probably fall asleep a little bit down the straights. Alright, so Kevin says, have you got any simulation GP events in the pipeline? Not currently on the community itself, but yes, is the answer. We have. As I said at the beginning of the stream, we are going to try and put together a Fusca series, and I'm also looking at the options of what we can do with Race Room, because I know we haven't really done much of that recently, and I'd like to get back on there again, so we might do some community races on there, which also gives us a bit more scope for events as well, in terms of more than one race at a time. So we can do, I think, up to 3 races in an event. So it gives us some options for reverse grids and things as well for a bit of fun. So do let me know what you would like us to try and put out there, and we'll do something. Maybe we'll do some TCRs, because they're always quite fun to race. Over the corkscrew. Get it stopped. It's quite a small circuit for Group C cars, but it's good. I love watching the needle on the boost gauge fluttering around, on and off throttle. Can't watch it too much because you got to focus on the next corner when it comes up to you very, very quickly. But yeah, I think the real win for the tyre models is just the drivability of it, and how you can just throw it around. And just play with the throttle on the exit and just get yourself through the corner without any nasty surprises. Need to brake early for the last corner though. Too excited coming down the hill. It's the thing with these Group C cars, they get quite a turn of pace on, and trying to scrub all that off is not always easy. Yeah, very satisfying heeling and towing with this car. Just constant chatter from the wastegates, I love it. There we go. Bit of a better lap that time around. Actually managed to keep it on track. But yeah, so rings true. The Group C cars with the new tyre model, very, very good. So how does it compare with what I originally thought they were like when they first released? Yeah, it's a good significant step further forward from where they were as well. I mean, not to say they were bad originally, but now it's even more so. It's just it has that organic feel to it. It has a feel of, the car is attached to the tarmac and it's moving around, and you can feel it moving around through the feedback on the wheel, and it just makes it feel that little bit more natural trying to drive the thing, which obviously helps when you're trying to muscle one of these things around the Nordschleife, because if you if you don't know what's going on underneath you, you have no chance of survival around there whatsoever. So that's very good. Okay. What we're going to do then is we're going to test out. Let's go back actually to our settings and damage type. Okay. Full damage, and we're on 100% damage scale. No, we're not. We're on 200% damage scale, because we're going to go test this out. We're going to go find some dangling parts on Caterhams. So let's go to find. We'll just take the Super Sport. It's probably my favourite ones. We'll go with that livery, and we'll go find somewhere where we can try and knock a front corner off. So we'll take it to somewhere which has tyre stacks on the apexes. The only one I'm thinking of offhand is the Knickerbrook chicane or the Britain chicane here at Walden Park. So we'll go there and we'll test some damage models, because let's see if I can find the info on here. And so where is it? Caterham's all models. So added damage / dangling parts, added vibrating cockpits, bits. So bits and pieces on the cockpit which you can see vibrating, which is good. Fixed reverse lights, adjusted light glow texture, UV map, revised collision, etc. So yeah, new damage on the Caterham. So let's see what we can do with that. Much as I love this little Caterham, we are going out there with the intention of damaging it. So Muddy says, sorry, let's go back to Kevin here. So it would be good to see a strong SGP community emerge for MS2. ACC has LFM, R3 has ranked racing. I think we need a big name to promote MS2 and the interesting car classes it contains. Yes, absolutely. Says, new relationship. I just started, never mentioned my interest in sim racing. Out of the blue, she shares a secret. She wants to drive race cars. How fun is that? Oh, brilliant. Well, that's a good one. That's worked out nicely for you. Congratulations. Right. Caterham. Kevin, marry her now. Okay. We'll get around to the chicanes, and we'll be careless with our steering inputs. Example then of some vibrating components. So the bonnet section is rumbling over the curbs there. Let's run out to the outside here. You can see it vibrating ever so slightly. Right. Look, someone's placed a handily placed bundle of tyres. Well, there's one there's one wheel in the middle of the road, which, looking at the graphic down the bottom right corner, may well be ours. Can we get a visual, please, just to make sure we're... Okay, so we just lost the wheel altogether. There's no parts hanging off. Maybe we need to hit it a bit harder. Let's go back to the pits and we'll go find something else. So Frank says, all fun and games until you're both scheduled for online racing in the same time slot and there's one rig. Okay, so landed on your feet there a little bit, Marty. That sounds good. Do some track daying. Yeah, you're gonna have to build a rig separately as well. Can you imagine what happens if you're both in the same race? Well, if you do, feel free to sign up for some of our races. You can come along, join the community. More than welcome. Right, this time what we're going to do is we're going to get down to the Knickerbrook chicane, having had a bit more of a turn of speed on, and we'll find something solid. Ooh, look, some solid items to aim for. Well, I think we crashed, everybody, so let's take a look. Oh, there's our... Oh, the replay's put our wheel back on again, even though it was knocked off. Let's go back to the pits, and get ourselves back around again. Right, here we go. Let's see what happens. Bit of a mishit on both. Okay, well, we lost quite a few more wheels this time. Not that we can see an awful lot. Let's have a look around here. Hang on a second, what's going on here? No, I'm on the wrong camera, that's why I wasn't working. Right, that's better. Let's have a look around. So, yep, a few bits no longer intact, but not much in the way of dangling parts, I will admit. Do wonder what they mean. Can't be him, surely. Okay, well, we definitely damaged that caterham, but nothing really hanging off. I would expect to see those front suspension arms trailing off because they're very easy to knock off in these cars. I wonder if it's the same with the Formula Trainer as well, because those are notorious for taking corners off. Nothing mentioned specifically on there. Okay, so that's with 200% damage, which is obviously very much exaggerated. So I wonder whether it's just because we've gone overboard on the damage side of things, but no matter. Okay, well, we know the caterham has damage, so if you crash, you will take corners off in terms of wheels and go from there. So next thing we need to test, we need to revisit the Super V8. Hey Gareth, welcome. For it's the reference, the golfing reference there from Gareth, with my pseudonym name of Justin Rose, the golfer. Simone, yes, yeah, the caterham, we love it, don't we? Right, let's take the Super V8. We'll take it to a suitably Australian circuit. We'll go to Adelaide and see what they've done with this. So, as mentioned at the beginning of the stream, they've made some more changes to the Super V8. They've adjusted some setup components. They've changed wheelbase. They've also changed the 3D model ever so slightly to accommodate those changes that they've made to the setup. So, last time when we left this car, it was less leery in terms of oversteer. There was less going on coming out of corners than there was originally, but still quite a lot. And it was also very, very twitchy around the center of the steering column. So you make a slight move, it was very, very edgy. So let's see what happens this time around. The Super V8 is one of those cars where people really want to drive this thing. It's a very popular type of car to race for a lot of people, and they love these cars. So it's going to be a very important one. Oh yeah, reset setup to be safe, says Doug. That's a good point. I don't think I've made any changes to it, but we'll reset it anyway. Just normally check that. There we go. Try again. Yeah, so definitely one which people want to be able to drive. So hopefully this will be another good improvement, a good step forward. I think he runs a V8, mate. Yeah, that's right. Okay, here we go then. Cold tyres. And a great big wiper in front of us on the windscreen, blocking our view of turn 1. Ooh, okay. Let's get our tyres up to temp first, and then we'll figure out what it's like. Oops, missed that curb. Stone cold, those tyres, absolutely zero grip whatsoever. So these cars by nature are very heavy. So they've got a big V8 lump under the bonnet, but also a lot of weight shifting around through the corners as well. So you've got to be aware that it's not just like a flyweight GT car that you can just chuck into corners and then all will be well. They've still got a saloon car body to them, with quite high weight. The Adelaide circuit is quite a good challenge to drive. So Frankie said, I want to like the Super V8, not tried it since the update. Yeah, I think that's the case for a lot of people. They really do want to like this car. Again, curb strikes are quite strong through the force feedback. Up over the curb there, and then this time get it onto the curb on the exit. Uses a little bit of a berm to keep us in check. Right, well, rear tyres at least are coming up to temperature. Front tyres still need a little bit of work. Remember, we still have damage on 200%, so I can't clip anything. Otherwise it's game over and we'll have to reset. But already you probably can tell that even though I've been reasonably careful, there's been not very much in the way of drama, I suppose you could call it, driving this thing around. So now our tyres are coming into their operating window. Let's push on a little bit more. Okay. Well, it's good news, everybody. The edginess from the steering has eased. It's still quite tight around the centre of the force feedback. And the steering is very heavy, but it's not detracting from the overall attempt to try and drive this thing in a relatively straight line. And you can get the power down with relative ease, and I think a lot of that's going to be down to the wheelbase adjustment. Big curb strike. And there, through there we got a little bit sideways, just on the power, but again, controllable. Through the ladder section here at Adelaide. I'm going to keep the rear end in check through here because easy to spin the rear tyres. Grounding out over the curb. It is a great circuit, isn't it, Marty, this one? It's good. So Frank says, it's fantastic after the recent changes. Yep, inclined to agree with that assessment. Maybe set the steering lock on lowest value. It's 14. We haven't changed steering lock, we're just on the defaults at this point. However, this is driving a lot more like you'd expect a Super V8 car to drive. That was me just getting overexcited after getting it sideways out of there. Let's try and have a look at the steering lock on this one. Still currently running. We are on, where are we? On 18 degrees, so let's turn that down to 14, which is the lowest. Well done, Frank, for remembering that. Let's see what happens. Oh, we lost all that heat. But yeah, so far so good. It's actually driving a lot more naturally. I mean, we know that these cars have their own individual characteristics in terms of how they drive anyway, so it's not like we're trying to expect a V8 supercar to drive like a GT3 car. So once you kind of get that assumption out of your mind, thinking that it's going to drive like any other high-powered GT and touring car, and start tuning into what it's like to drive one of these cars on the limit, things start to make a little bit more sense. Again, cold tyres going on here. So the lower steering lock has certainly reduced some of the centralised weight on the steering. Very tight hairpin here at Adelaide. Get it turned in. Got to drive like you have an air gun to your throttle, which is what you have to do with these cars anyway, so it's not like it's falsely like that. Too deep into there. I carried a bit too much throttle around that right-hander. Not remembering I didn't have the heat in the tyres to allow that to happen. Dancing through the first chicane. Forgot to check what tyre compounds we're running as well, because I'm not sure whether we're going to be on hards or on softs. Obviously softs will heat up quicker, because we're already almost halfway around the second lap and we're still only just getting temperatures in. It is a great circuit, this one. It has a nice flow to it. A little better on traction off the hairpin that time. Less wheel spin. Again, very easy to lock a brake into that hairpin. Oops, too late into there, but we're okay. There we go. That was the curb that always usually catches me out, coming out of there. Just getting on the curb too much, and that'll just spin you around when you put the throttle down. So, car itself feels good. It feels much more improved, even more so from the previous update that they've done with it. It drives nicely. It's more predictable. It's more forgiving as well, and yeah, it actually drives like you would expect it to now. So good. I'm glad they fixed that. Hopefully, more people get the chance to try that and revisit it after the first couple of versions of it, because it is definitely worth a revisit for sure. So that's really good. Okay. What else have we got on here? We need to check. So there's been some AI revisions as well. So for those who race against AI, they've done a calibration pass against the Cadillac DPIs, the Formula V12s and V10s, Formula Reizers, Formula Ultimates, the Super V8 as well, Porsche GT3 Cup, GT5s and G40 Cup cars as well. Various damage and model updates down here. Just checking what else there is. The Formula USA, so the Indy cars have had an update. Added hard. Oh, they've been fully revised apparently. Added hard compound to Formula USA Gen 1s. So they've had fully revised physics for the Formula USA. So we're going to have to maybe give those a go as well. Does recommend a setup change or reset. So what year do we go for here? Let's go with the Gen 2s, and we'll jump in the Reynard Mercedes, I reckon. Set this to Road America. Let's do that. Another great car and track combo. So let's see what the Formula USA's are like, or the champ cars. A lot of people love these particular cars, so be curious to see how they drive now. But so far, so good, actually, in terms of the overall update. Again, it's just another update focusing on bug fixes or physics updates. No new content as a part of this content update. But what they are doing is they're revisiting some of the older cars which have been released and bringing them up to a better standard, which is always good because, you know, as mentioned by you guys in the comments, you know, the great beauty of AMS2 is the variety of different cars you have available to drive. So if you have more and more of those cars driving better, that just adds to the overall value of the sim. So it can only be a good thing. Right. Let's take this thing out for a bit of a blast around Road America. And again, warm those tyres. Bit of a wild gear changing hand action going on there on the right side. It's kind of grabbing at the shifter. Lovely autumnal colours out here at Road America. Again, can't push on too much at the moment. We're waiting for tyre temps to increase. Through the carousel we go. Very twitchy through there, but it's all good. Flat out through the kink. Yeah. Ooh, hello. That was a bit wild into there. So, Roll Helmet says, I'm waiting for the 1970s Spa and Nürburgring like a child waiting for Christmas. Yes, I believe they are coming, aren't they? Those versions, which would be really nice to have. They do a good job of the historic versions of their tracks anyway at Reiza, so those two I'm sure will be absolute gems. Cool. This thing's loose. That's a little late. It's not the car, that was me. Tell you what, when you do hit those curves in these cars, it really does snatch the wheel from your hand, which in some cases probably is how it is, but I would expect it to be a little less violent than that, possibly. Got the very short gear ratio for 6th. A little more control through the penultimate corner that time. And now things have heated up, we've got a little bit more grip available. Still got that high tyre wear by the looks of things on the left front, which was the issue with these cars in the past. Dear me. Cool. That was a fair amount of oversteer going into turn 1 at high speed then. So perhaps these cars feeling a little bit less glued to the ground than they were. There's definitely a lot more sliding around from the rear end. Which means you have to pick up the throttle ever so carefully. Feed it through the kink as smoothly as possible. That one was on the braking too late and downshifting up while turning in. Never a good idea. But okay, so champ cars, yeah, maybe feeling a little bit more like you need to drive them a little bit more rather than just simply turning in and applying the brakes, throttle, whatever it is, just a little bit more involved in driving those cars rather than just point and squirts. So, got to be ready for that. What else have we got that we can enjoy? I did say actually we're going to revisit some of these, so let's go take a look at. We've tried the Ginetta G40s already, so let's go try out the GT5s. But this time, rather than the Ginettas, we're going to try the Puma P05, which is one of those cars which doesn't really get driven enough, I don't think, because it is actually a really good car to drive. So let's drive this one, and we're going to take it to one of my favourite tracks. We're going to go to Ibarra, and we'll do this way around. I'll give this a try. The Dark Eminence says, I can also recommend trying Swift or Lola. They can be a bit different in terms of looseness. Okay. Yes, because it was difficult to tell the difference between them when they were first released, actually. But if there's a bit more of a difference now, that might be a good thing to try. Right. All of a sudden, the pace has dropped out of the car that we're driving because we are significantly slower than we were in the Champ car or the Group C cars. But this little Puma, with its very long 5th gear ratio, is actually quite a fun little thing to drive. So this one also has benefits of the new tyre model and a heap of understeer through that fast right. Get it back. Okay, work to do. again, got a strong feeling of force feedback through the wheel in this car. Doesn't have the grip of the Champ car, I will give it that. It shouldn't, it's not meant to. Just adjustments required on my brain. So, Frankie says, I quite like the Puma, don't drive it often, so we'll have to revisit them again. Yeah, this is, it's driving a little bit different to how I remember it, but let's give it another few laps and not write it off just yet. Rip Helmet says, I honestly can't tell which is which in a blind test between the Puma USA Gen 2s and 3s, let alone the individual chassis. Yeah, there's some very subtle differences on them, I think. Gearing's not quite right for this circuit, but it's okay. We'll drive through it. A little bit slidey into the left-hander. But again, the same observation applies for the Puma as did with the other cars with the new tyre model, is in the feel of what you can experience through the wheel. So again, going sideways with this car, which I've done a couple of times now, not on purpose I will admit, but I have gone sideways and yeah, been able to recover it mostly, but again, a good feel as to what the car's doing so that I know how much opposite lock I can apply and hopefully get it back on track. So used to taking that flat out in the Fuscas that having to dab the brakes ever so slightly is a bit of a surprise. There was an apex around somewhere there. Right, let's try and get the nose into this left-hander this time. A little better. I can't remember if I was in third or fourth then, but all of a sudden, down go the revs. Just power through with a bit of right foot, it's all good. So Frank says, on a different note, viewership numbers are on the rise, it seems. So that's good, yes. And it's all thanks to you guys, to be honest, because you're the ones watching. But I appreciate it. It's good to see that more people are joining in for our streams and our videos and things, so thank you very much for watching, I do appreciate it. If you are enjoying what you're seeing of me attempting to drive cars around tracks rather quickly, or not, as the case may be, then please do consider liking the stream. And if you are new here, welcome. It's good to have you with us. Consider subscribing to the channel if you so wish. Become part of our community. We are on SimRacing GP, which we'll be doing more races on very soon indeed. So need to get ourselves a bit of a schedule plan so that we know what's coming up and people have a chance to join in and know when the races are on, etc. So we'll be doing some more of those in the coming weeks. But yeah, this little Puma is actually quite nice to drive. It's a little bit of a different experience to most of the other cars we've driven this evening, but once you enter 5th gear, the party's over. But it's good fun. So there we go. That's that one. So again, another positive for the new tyre model, which seems to be working quite well across all the different types of cars. So we've got a good variety of cars now running it, obviously from low grip sports cars through to high-end single-seaters and sports cars and things, and it all seems to be working across all of those different types of cars. So some good work being put in and some good releases going on as well. So okay, let's do one more thing to wrap up our look at the new updates. I mean, really, we could spend a long time going through all the different things which are on here because there's so much in here. But let's check here. We've got revised ride height ranges and default settings for all GTEs, GT3s, and of course the single seaters which we've already driven. We've also got revised front wheel drive open differential for Passats, Golds, Uno, and Mini 65. So the open diff for the Mini has been updated. So I think we need to give that a go, don't you think? Let's go find that on my favorite little things to drive. So we'll give this a go. There's also actually, I was going to show you, apparently the 2002s had some livery updates. So there we go. Got some different looking liveries on the 2002. Looks quite cool. Okay, so let's grab a Mini. We'll go with the black with a red job. So here we go. Let's take this one to, I don't know, where should we go? Do brands. We'll do brands Indy. And what we'll do actually this time, rather than just me driving around on my own, we'll do a little bit of a race. So, the Cobra Fusca. What a thing of beauty that is. Right. Let's go with the Mini. We'll do identical. So we have all just Minis. Then we'll select brands Indy. What kind of length really? 5 laps? Yeah, that's fine. And we won't bother with a practice session. We'll just go straight into it. And yeah, let's go have a laugh. Kevin says, I like the recent race department article film. Oh, thanks very much. I appreciate that. Yes, I'm writing for race department, so you'll see some kind of I don't even call them opinion pieces really. I suppose it's more just introspective pieces on sim racing. So I've done one recently on, I don't know what it was now. So it was how to mentally prepare for online racing, which Funky, yeah, you mentioned there, which you read, which you really liked, is how you prepare yourself to go online. Because I know there's a lot of fear for a lot of people who haven't raced online before, or who have and had a bad experience. And so just trying to address how we go through that and help people to get online and enjoy the full the full experience. But yeah, the most recent one was on why we do it. Sim racing. Why do we do this? Why do we keep going back to sim racing and experiencing some of the things that we all love about it? So yeah, it's good fun. So thanks for reading them. I'm glad you're liking the articles. There'll be more coming. Don't worry. Funky says we even have the mighty Nemesis hooked on the Fusca. Yeah, you really enjoyed them. Craig really loved them when we drove them together. So that was that was fun. Right, oop, my Mini's rolling. Let's go for a quick blast around Brands Indy and the beautiful little Mini 65 down to Paddock Bend for the first time. So we're obviously looking at the diff on this car as to what the difference is. which would obviously affect how we go through some of these corners. A bit of stuttering going on actually with some other cars on track. I'm off track. AI is beating up on me. Hey Nemesis, welcome. How was the new update? It's good. It is good. Some good updates going on with the tyre physics on some of the cars. Just trying to get used to these minis with their new diffs. You were summoned, says Frank. Second gear, too early into Druids. Okay, I'm going to actually just come out of that for a second because that stuttering is quite severe. So what we are going to do actually is just to give it a fair chance of trial, we're going to actually remove the other cars and just allow me to focus not only on driving on its own, but also actually be able to see what I'm doing, because it's a little bit stuttery there. I have to look into that a bit more. So let's go again. Just by ourselves this time. Just say his name, he appears. Wow. Yeah, we're all good. We're all doing well. Thanks, Nemesis. I appreciate you joining in. So Dark Eminence is here with the update. So what basically this has been done is that the open diff is simulating a bit more internal friction, so it's not opening too spontaneously anymore. Okay, so that's what we're looking out for here. Okay, so the diff is not opening as much as it was last time, so let's see what happens now. I'm kind of expecting this to be a bit more wheel spin happy coming out of some of these corners. So there you go, when you actually put your foot down and you shouldn't have gone another second gear there, but when you try to put too much throttle down straight away, the front end will just start to wash out because the wheels will start spinning. But then, being a front-wheel drive car, you have to have a little bit of... You've got to have a little bit of throttle on just to keep the front end going through the corner. The little Mini is one of those giant killing cars which just usually can just beat up on all the other bigger, more powerful cars through the corners. Usually end up sliding around quite a lot as well. A lot of four-wheel drift going on in classic Appendix K spec Minis. A lot of steering lock on there, which I'm sure was detrimental to my chances of getting around Druids. So, working our way through here. So, Dark Eminence is only subtle really, it will still unlock of course, yes it will. Just need to find the balance of this car through these corners. No, it says, Phil, we need a mini night, I'm down. Yeah, we've not done a... I've done that again. We've not done a mini night for a little while. We had that one a fair while ago, driving both the modern minis and the classic minis as well. But yeah, we need some more mini stuff. So maybe that's something we can schedule in on SimRacing GP. Just trying to play with the throttle just to see where the level of grip is coming out of clearaways, though. It's a tricky one to get power down through here. Right, let's be brave into paddock hill this time. Very, very different driving style to everything else we've driven this evening. Just trying to flick it into the corners because you just need to see them doing a bit more moving around rather than just pushing on so much. A little bit better through that. Until, of course, the gravel trap hit me. Right, let's go back to the pits, and I'm going to have a quick play with setup on this because I need the rear end to be a little bit more proactive. So let's... It's quite stiff already, isn't it? Quite soft on the front anti-robbers. Let's put the rear ride height up. We can't do that. It's as stiff as it will go on the rear as well, so it's yeah, okay. I need to look into this a bit more. So what's been going on here? So yeah, so Frank's excited for the new Mini, so the classic Mini on the new tyre model. That would be good. SimRacer, welcome along. I see you're writing for Race Department now, Phil. Yes, I am. How did that come about? Well, I actually know Bram from quite a way back now, actually. Bram Hangerveld, who runs Race Department. And he approached me and asked me if I'd be willing to do some riding for them, and we looked at what I could do, and I said yes. So there I am. I'm riding for Race Department. Mini's handled like a blancmange, says SimRacer. Yeah, it's a little bit, you know, kind of slidey in the corners. Kevin says, when we did the SGP event, I noticed a lot of lagging. Everyone seemed to lag at the same time, but the follow-up races outside of SGP were fine. Yeah, I think they were still working on some stability side of things on their servers for SGP, so we're going to have to do another test just to make sure that works, you know, as it should do, and then we'll so we'll check the lag situation another time and see if we can make it a bit better. Because yeah, we don't want people lagging around. That's not ideal at all. Funky says, "Well, it wasn't his good looks in race." Oh, thanks, Funky. Appreciate that. So you could increase tyre pressure, says Dark Evans. That's a good call. I will do that. So we're on 17.4. Let's go up a little bit. A couple of clicks either way. Everyone knows I'm joking, says. No, you're not. Secretly, I know what you like. Right, okay, here we go. Let's see if we have a little bit more of a live Mini. It is a lot of body roll going on there, as you can see. Right. Let's throw it into Paddock Bend to get some temperature going. Right. Here we go then. To Druids. Only rear pressures. Oh, yeah, that's true. keep on the track. It's a challenging thing to drive. And again, a rounded wheel would be useful in this situation, but never mind. We'll keep going. It's quite nice balancing it through Paddock Bend, a little bit of left foot braking there just to try and maintain some balance in the cut. It's a little better. Track maintenance must be a serious pain. Yeah, once I've been there, you mean? It's like, oh, he's messed up the grass once again. Oh, I have to re-rake the gravel. Well, that was a big improvement in terms of lap time, was second up, which around a short circuit such as Brands Indy is a fair chunk of time. That's running off again. Okay, a bit more work required on that, but you know, the Mini is a good challenge. It's a very different car. So again, like I said, very different to all the other cars we've driven this evening. Okay, let's do one more thing. So, oh yeah, so the diffs on the Golds, the Unos, and the Minis as well. So let's go and have a look at the. Where are they? They're going to be under the Copa Classics. So not one which we tend to do too much with the Copa Classics, really. But probably one we should do more with. So let's try the Gold, shall we? Let's go with the black and orange look, and we'll go to a Brazilian circuit because that's where their natural habitat is. So let's have a look at. Let's go to Guapore. We'll give that a drive around there. So again, this is the same kind of situation with the Mini with the open diff situation. So see how the front-wheel drive VWs fare. To roar like the Puma GTB. That's the muscle car looking one. Right. Let's go see what the Golf is like. I'm not sure if these are running slicks. I think they are, as opposed to the cross plies which are on the Mini. Lots of long corners on this particular track, so it's a good chance to see what the front-wheel drive is doing through those corners. Ooh, it's got a lively rear end. It's down to the banked left-hander here. But this one's quite a fast right-hander through here. Yeah, much more lively rear end compared to the Mini. And again, you got to use your throttle to try and keep the car under control. So these cars don't really tend to get an awful lot of usage in AMS2 because I think maybe people steer away from the slower stuff potentially. Which is a shame because some of the slower class cars are actually really fun for driving and racing purposes. We had a good race with the Unos a while back as well. That was close around Taruma. Okay, can we keep it flat through here? That's the question. Yes. It's quite nice to do that, actually, just sliding nicely through the corner. Too close to the inside. So Kevin says, my photographer mate is at the 6 hours of Paul Ricard this evening. Oh, awesome. That sounds fun. I'll have to have his eyes calibrated when he comes back, just so he doesn't see blue and red lines everywhere. Marty's like, that's why the Fusca brings all the boys to the yard. Everyone loves the Fusca. We're slowly converting the sim racing world to Fuscas, one by one. You see them raced online a fair bit, do you, Frankie? Okay, well, maybe I have not seen them as much, but okay, drives pretty well. I mean, obviously that's a very flowy circuit, so you don't get a chance to see what they're like out of slow corners as much, but you know, you can use the front wheel drive to pull yourself through the corners, and when you go sideways, you can just pull it back in line again. So yeah, it works well. Okay, well, so summing things up then. So new tyre model for a variety of the Formula One derivatives and Group C, all very, very nicely done indeed as well. So adding some good extra enjoyment to those particular cars. If you're a fan of fast single-seaters such as the Formula V10s, yeah, you're going to like it a lot. It's really, really, really nice. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with the Formula Vintages, because they've changed some of the driveline elasticity with those cars, but they haven't done the tyre models just yet. So it's going to be, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens when they start working onto some of the older car tyre models and seeing how they react with that. But with the latest batch of updates, very, very good indeed. Super impressed with that. So yeah, looking forward to more, really. And we'll see what happens next time when they release another update, as to whether there's more content or whether they're still focusing on the updating of the original stuff. So all very good stuff, and all heading in the right direction as well, which is what we like to see. And AMS2 just continues to get better and better every update, so can't complain. It's all good. So more get my words out. Raw McRip Helmet says Reiza needs to make a banger racing mod for the mode for these Cobra Classics. Hopefully with the Adrenaline DLC. That could be interesting, with 200% damage on as well. Dark Eminence, Fusca is the better Porsche Cup. Don't at me. No, you're safe here, Dark Eminence. Don't worry. You're in good company if you like the Fusca around here, because we all love it. So, yeah, so absolutely. So brilliant stuff. Good update. We will be putting out some more events on Sim Racing GP soon, so please stay tuned for that. If you're not joined up with our community over there, please do take a look. We'd love to have you with us and joining in with our races. We'll make sure we put them up in good time so people have the opportunity to sign up and not miss out. So keep your eyes peeled, and we'll get something on the socials as well to get it well known across the various channels. So please stay tuned. But thank you again once for your company this evening, and thank you for your comments. It's been fun to be with you all this evening. I hope you enjoyed yourselves, and I hope you had a bit of a laugh at my abilities this evening, which have been lacking in some respects. So, but either way, thank you very much for your company. We'll be back again very, very soon, and take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time on the channel. But until then, bye-bye for now.